David, are you joining us on the phone right now?
Susie Schuster?
Hi, David.
You?
The last time I saw you, we were doing a piece on Van Gundy in New York, comparing his outfits. They said they are not Armani suits. Do you remember that one on ESPN on SportsCenter?
I remember it very well. I certainly do. Are you still wearing David Yurman jewelry?
Not today, but I hate to let you down, but the fact that you remember that is downright frightening. But I'm thrilled. David, I'm so happy you took the time to join us here on The Rich Eisen Show, and I want to ask you right away, what happened yesterday?
Well, till about 2:40, it was a fairly typical trade deadline. There were a couple of trades. Everybody was waiting on Dragic and what was going to happen there, but it was fairly typical. And then all hell broke loose. I've never experienced a 35-minute push like that with Oklahoma, with everybody doing 3 and 14 trades at the same time. It was amazing. And then on top of that, Garnett deciding to go ahead and accept the trade to Minnesota. It was unbelievable activity in that 35, 40-minute period when everybody gets serious about making a trade. But usually what happens is people say, you know what, it's too much change. I'm not going to change my team that much. We'll stand pat. Yesterday, everybody who said, the hell with it. We're going to blow this thing up. We're going to go for it. We're going to make these deals, and everybody did it. Everybody pulled the trigger.
It's incredible. Who do you think at the end of the day was the biggest winner?
I think Oklahoma City did an incredible job. I mean, they built a bench in an hour. Last year they went into the playoffs. They were counting on guys like Derek Fisher, and they were counting on Jeremy Lamb to make big plays for them in the playoffs. And it didn't really happen in that series against San Antonio. So they went out, and in the space of an hour yesterday, they added 4 rotation guys on top of the 2 guys they already had, Waiters and Anthony Morrow. And now they can go 11 deep with quality veteran guys who've been, except for Cantor, who's not been in the playoffs yet, but who physically gives them a dimension they haven't really had. Steven Adams is a very good defensive center, and he may well be a good offensive center someday. He's not there yet. Cantor can play right now on the offensive end of the floor. So depending on matchups, you can mix and match him and Adams. You can mix and match him and Ibaka. It was just a great thing. To get guys like Singler, to get Augustine, who was Katie's guard at Texas, masterstroke, a veteran guy who was terrific for Chicago last year in the playoffs. I thought OKC had a great afternoon.
D.A., Coach Rick Neuheisel is a big Suns fan. He grew up a Suns fan.
Give me some good news, David. Give me some good news. What the heck happened with Phoenix yesterday? Well,
here's the one good piece of news, Coach, is that they settled the point guard problem. And it was a problem, as evidenced by Goran Dragic's demand to be traded. It was a problem. They thought that they could double down on the success they had last year with Dragic and Bledsoe, with Isaiah Thomas, and it turned out to be something that nobody liked, really. They made it work as best they could, and they wound up trading both of them, Dragic and Thomas. So now it's settled. Bledsoe's the starter. Brandon Knight's going to be the backup. They'll probably play together a lot as well, but there's no more controversy. At least they got that thing settled, and they can go forward now to continue building their team. They didn't take on any real salary yesterday, so it's not a bad day from that perspective. They didn't get a whole lot for Dragic, I'm not going to lie, but at least they settled the problem. That's a guy that they weren't going to be able to pay what he wanted. They already decided they gave Bledsoe the big contract. So once you do that, you kind of told everybody what you're going to do. If I were a Suns fan, I would have liked for them to get more for Dragic than what they got. But at least they settled the problem.
And as for Pat Riley, he said the show was going to go on when LeBron left to go back to Cleveland, and it seems it has. Here's the starting 5 for Miami: Wade, Dragic, Chris Bosh, Luol Deng, and then, of course, Hassan Whiteside. And so what the upside for them seems tremendous.
Well, that's a great trade for them. I mean, look, they gave away 3 guys that really aren't part of their future. I mean, Norris Cole is a decent backup guard, but he wasn't part of their future. And you get a starting point guard. You get a top 12, maybe top 10 point guard in the league in Dragic for nothing, basically. You're going to have to pay him next summer, but they knew that. That was part of the deal, and I'm sure they will pay him what he's looking for. And so now you've added a big piece, and it's important to them, not just now, Susie, but next summer and the summer after that. When you go after some of these free agents that are going to be available in a couple of years, you can say, hey, look, we've put a team together. We've put a good team together. We've got a point guard. We solved that problem. Dwayne Wade is not what he used to be, but he's still pretty effective. Now, the big question now is Bosch. We don't know. He's still getting tested as recently as 10 minutes ago when I checked. He's still getting those tests to see if it is indeed blood clots and what that treatment is going to be. And if he's going to be out for a long period of time, that's obviously going to impact him this year. You hope that he can continue to play after this year if that's the case. But they've got some pieces. If Whiteside is legit, we don't know. It's a small sample size. But if he's legit, then the rebuild's going to take a lot shorter than I think a lot of people thought.
Chris Bosh, of course, admitted to a Miami hospital. A lot of concerns about his health after going on vacation in Haiti, and people are wondering what kind of illness he could possibly have. How about the Sixers? Because what are they thinking when you trade away your top player in Michael Carter-Williams?
Well, again, it's very hard to explain this, to continue to explain this to the fans in Philly. You've said we're going to rebuild. Okay, we're into the rebuild. So we trade an all-star point guard in Jrue Holiday. We draft Michael Carter-Williams, and we draft Nerlens Noel. Noel doesn't play for a year. Carter-Williams comes in. He's the rookie of the year. Looks like he's a good piece. And we trade him. So, they're getting more picks, which I understand. But at some point, you've got to make the fans, give them something that they can hang their hat on. Okay, right. This is a guy that we know is going to be here for the next 6 to 8 years. And other than Noel, now, who is that? I mean, you assume it's going to be Embiid. But, look, I get what Sam Hinkie's doing. I give them credit. They never lied about what they're doing. They're going to take it down to the studs, and they're going to be bad and get high draft picks. But at some point, you got to pick players that you're actually going to keep.
David, I think they want a few more years out of you. I think you need to go back to Philly. I'm serious. Let's bring the spectrum back. Let's just go back old school, and let's get a few more years out of you. What do you say?
I loved working in Philly. I had a great time there. It was a lot of fun, great passion up there. I love the fans. They get a little crazy sometimes, but I love their passion. They care. They care about everything up there. So, that's what I feel bad for, is because those fans have, they've been very patient considering what they've had to watch the last 3 years. They've been incredibly patient.
It's been a dark several years for them. Let's face it, who's buying jerseys right now? Whose jersey do you buy? They could be gone tomorrow. David, thank you so much for joining us. This is the first time I've gotten to talk to you in ages, so I'd hate to say goodbye, but as you know, hard out, so you have to say goodbye.
We don't say goodbye, we say so long. Au revoir.
Au revoir. David, thank you so much for joining us, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, guys.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.